Wagwan masses, Dapper here, and welcome back to 1M Sports. I know it's been a while, but as you know, all of the recent news within the last 48 hours or so from Man U had to get active. A lot of thoughts, a lot of happenings. So, without further ado, we're just gonna get right into it. Starting off, Mr. Ten Hag has finally been let go. I want to say thank you for the good memories, which would be 22, 23. And you can keep last year and the start of this season. Trophies are always welcomed. It's been a while. It was a while since I'd seen my team lift trophies. Even though it was local cups, is better than nothing. As much as things turned for the worse over the last 18 months, I still think that he is higher in the post Alex Ferguson list than Ole. That's just me. So I'd put him probably second. Van Gaal ball is so bad that I try to throw that out of my head. Still Mourinho first. But as we've seen, I was actually going to do a video when the news came out Monday on possible coaches that we were bringing in. So I know right now we're finalizing things with Amorim, and I have a whole section to come later in the video on him and everything that he should be bringing to Man U. But beforehand, just in terms of what I wanted, the dream, of course, was Nagelsmann. Honestly, it wasn't that realistic. He's locked in with Germany till at least the World Cup. So it would take something spectacular, not a team in 14th place and 21st in the Europa League to entice him from that job. The next one, of course, we lost out on Tuchel. And then the other choice I was looking at, me personally, was Hoeneß at Stuttgart. Doesn't seem to be of the pedigree, really, of what we wanted. But I was really I really liked the fact that he played a 4-3-3. And he seemed to have at least a little bit more personality than Ten Hag. So hopefully he would have been able to bring that to Man U. But it was more of a hope and pray settings. He didn't have that pedigree. And there were some other names I saw thrown around, like Thomas Frank. Naga mentioned the ex-England manager because that was a no-go. They're also talking about Potter. That never really enticed me either. And then I think there was a mention of Inzaghi from Inter. Why would you leave a machine that's doing what they're doing? And then I think they were talking about Allegri as well. But we ended up with Amorim. Really good choice. Really good credentials. Young coach. I honestly didn't think that we could get a coach currently in a team that's having success mid-season. I thought we were going to have to rock with Rude at least to the end of the season. And then next summer, we'd be able to pick any scraps from whatever the top teams don't want. But Ineos, and that's another thing I want to check on. When did this really start? Because it seems the speed of which this is moving it's never said that before. Especially for somebody that's in charge of a team that's unbeaten since the season started. So I think they had their list going and they did some background work in terms of reaching out to him. But I think it really, really started in place during the last international break where they reached out to him and said, how big is the interest? Can we be able to do it? And then probably explore how much his buyout clause is. There's also a part of me that feels like, and I think I saw an article on it, Barada knew that there was some Man City interest, and you call it insider trading or spy work or whatever you want to call it, but they picked up on Amorim before City get their claws on him, and he seems to be a very good buy. A little bit on him, going to touch on the formation and stuff like that, but he actually did part of his coaching certifications under Mourinho at Man U, so he's familiar with the grounds, as Ronaldo did complain and say it's the same, everything's the same from when he left in 09 forward back. So Amorim was just there 6-7 years ago. everything the same, boss. 5, 6 years ago, is everything the same. So, but at least he knows his way around. Speaks good English, which the English media seems to be really particularly fond of. But I will say, compared to how Ten Hag was struggling with his A's and no, he had very little. He was very straightforward, which seems to be the Dutch way in terms of his personality, and that didn't mesh well with the English. So hopefully Amorim has some charisma, able to navigate that big. But cause tell you what, you weren't in the biggest team in Portugal, and now you're coming to probably the second or third biggest team in the world. It's gonna be a lot. So hopefully he'll be able to navigate that. All right. So now the thing that Amorim is really bringing that's unique to the table, and that's his 3-4-3 system. Very similar to, I guess, a 5 at the back system, which Conte kind of was doing with Chelsea a few years back. But right now in the Prem, no one else is doing that. The closest you get is Teta and Pep. They're using 4 center backs, inverting one of them, and it turns into a 3 at the back system. But nobody else is using anything close to that. So the only other teams right now, bigger teams that are using that system, is Inzaghi's Inter and Xabi Alonso's Bayer Leverkusen. Bring those names up specifically because between Inter, Sporting, and Leverkusen, those teams lost 4 total league games last year, and all of them won their title. No, I don't want rival fans to take that now and laugh off of me. All I'm saying is we might be ahead of the tactical curve, or at least further than we were with Ten Hag. Know that we're trying to do this 3 at the back system. Hopefully, and I'm getting flashbacks again, it's not no Van Gaal business. It's actually entertaining, chance creating football. Something we can watch. All that being said, we don't necessarily have all the necessary pieces that can work that system. And that's troubling to say because of all the money that we spent on the Ten Hag. I wouldn't say it's square pieces though. It's more, I'd say it's more of an octagon. So they can fit if they want to fit. It's not that much of a difference in terms of how we will be setting up because as we know, Ten Hag was inverting. But here's a formation that I pulled up. Everybody just kind of move, I guess depends on your orientation, them just shift to the right a little bit. So in my formation, again, this is not set in stone, but in this one it's easier to translate if I was in Amorim's position. Hey, everybody just move your position just a little bit this way. So then Dalot moves back and you can see it go all the way around. From what I've seen, the hardest part, which is the hardest part in Ten Hag system, is going to be the gaps between whoever pressing and the midfield and then midfield with the defense. There's a lot of running that has to be done with the 2 6s or whatever you want, 6-8, whatever you call it. But mainly we're going to have a lot of running to do. Getting to some transfer possibilities later, but it can work. If the man them apply themselves and them be professional, it can work. The biggest problem, of course, as you can see, we have no wing backs, specifically left wing back. Dalot can work it, Batshuayi can work it, but Amas just him too young, too small. But because of the 3 at the back system, he'll have more coverage. Malacia maybe, but it's to be seen what kind of how him foot are gonna look, because there's gonna be a lot of running, especially for deliveries, and you know what I mean. You like think of a Dumfries, think of a Frimpong. They're always up. You know, what's the one that plays for Inter? DeMarco. Yeah, they're always, they're delivering the final crosses and stuff like that. So it's to be seen how that would work with Malacia and coming off a 2-year injury, and who knows. But that's definitely toward the area. The wing backs is definitely what we want to need to address. But we need to address that anyway. For our wingers, we have I can't say we have an excess of wingers, but it's tough to see how these wingers would work in Amorim's system. But again, luckily or unluckily, a lot of them like to invert anyway. So I think in terms of technicality, Rashford is probably second best, and he has the 10 and you're making the money. So I'd put him beside Bruno, as you see. Ahmad, I feel like Ahmad would really play well there, but Garnacho seems to be the golden child. But with all of the energy with Garnacho have, I wouldn't mind him at right wing back again, just shifting everything over a little bit. But he could also play beside Bruno there. Mount has a future as well, playing either for Bruno or beside Rashford. And then, between Højlund, if we can mold Højlund into a Gyökeres and get some kind of, what the right word was if it's Xerxes, because it's too early. I don't really want to diss him, but if we gotta get some kind of urgency in a Xerxes play, he just plays a little too relaxed for the Premier League. Like, the man them a move, dog. You can't just and you're not using your body enough to be that calm and cool on the ball. Like, you know what I mean? Sheila man press him off, then do your thing and move. But anyways, that's not the point of the video. Lastly, I guess we can touch on the transfers. So first and foremost, a target that I feel like we were already looking at because of the bargain that it presents is Alvaro Fernandez. I had from one of your podcast days, I had reservations with Fernandez because he reminded me of Marcos Alonso. Really good going forward, looked like him have a good delivery. But defensively, he just seemed like a too slight. Marcos Alonso, though, was perfect as a wingback. So if we bring in Alvaro for the price that them saying and the buyback and all of this, that, and the third, bring him back to Man U in January and put him in that left wing back spot. Now it turns into we have Dalo Mazraoui at right wing back. Then we'll have Malacia Alvaro at left wing back. Yes, there's a name missing, but we don't talk about dead people. So that's him. I don't even want to mention his name in my video. But that to me it sends the right message to the academy players. Now we're adding one more academy graduate into the team, and I feel like it would really, really work. And then he is in close enough age to amass with him, can be friendly, help build him up, there's just so many positives to bringing Alvaro back and having him in that wing back role. I feel like if we were still using 4-3-3 and he was just a pure left back, I'd still be a little reserved. But in a wing back system, all the pathways are there for him to be a success at Old Trafford. And then him young enough where you can tell him, say, still hold the bench and put Mazraoui over there or Malacia or what have you. The next one, which we know with all managers, whenever them move somewhere, them always take somebody with them. And looking at the team right now, and it's not Gyökeres. We don't need Gyökeres. I know, it sounds like, oh my God, you'd be no. Unless Xerxes, I can leave that alone. But the one I'm looking at, I think its name's pronounced Højlund. I know, another one that sounds like Haaland in the team. But he is a central midfielder. He's Danish, so he has familiarity with Højlund already. Eriksen, I think Eriksen gone. Notice him never in the squad. So bringing him in with knowing the system already, knowing the amount of running that's going to be necessary, and the fact that we're going to be losing two central midfielders next summer. I feel like Cassett gone. I feel like Eriksen gone. Bringing him in for the coach, I feel like that would work out. We'd probably need another one as well. So Alvaro, I'm looking at January. Højlund, whatever you want to pronounce it, I'm probably going to say next summer, because Sporting already going to be upset. We took Amorim. They're not going to sell us one of their key players in the middle of the season. And then I'm looking at Branthwaite to cover for Licha. I feel like in that three at the back system, Branthwaite's size, age, his profile, it worked because there'd be more avenues for him to just pass the ball and keep it simple. Some of the worries that I had with him in a two at the back system, I feel like they get covered in a three at the back system. So those are my three right now. As the season progresses, we'll see other than there, but I feel like it can work. I'm not as hopeful as I was as when Ten Hag was just forwarding in. I feel like he had, especially with the chaos of Ragnarok, I feel like he had that straight, matter of fact, strict thing going. But blame Brentford and Brighton, they broke him spirit, and even though we had 2 trophies to show for it, he couldn't get back to the identity that he wanted to bring to Man U in the first place. He wasn't strong in his position to say, this is how I want to play, this is how I want to build it, this is what I want to do. Again, maybe it was all the drama, all the attention, but at the end of the day, him just never seemed fully ready for the pressures that we had. And even Abramovich had said it. So, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Please like, subscribe, and share WhatsApp, Facebook, IG, X, wherever. Thanks again for the support, whoever is going to watch this. This is Dapa signing off. Peace.